So as promised, here we are on Timecode NOCCA with the second installment where we're bringing you films from high school students that attend NOCCA right here in New Orleans. If you want to be a filmmaker, you can contact NOCCA at NOCCA.com. And that's NOCCA.com. Timecode NOCCA, you heard me?
I came up with this concept of this girl looking back on, well, this woman looking back on to when she was a girl and a little child, and I became attached to this story, and I felt I wanted to make it personal. So I dug in, did some research in my family, and I found out a story that actually resembled my idea. That's my grandmother. And so I took it out, and I got a beautiful girl named Kaylin, who was my cousin, and I got my own grandmother in it. And it's basically a story about, a woman, she's getting ready to go to a ball or some sort of event. And what happens is she stumbles upon this picture. And she goes into the time where this event was taking place. And so when she gets to that point, you know, it shows the whole scenery, the flowers, the sun, everything that she experienced at that time of her life. And that was a real good moment for her because, you know, it was nature, you know, you was one with it. And I thought that was real special. And that picture captured that moment. And I was able to go back into that moment and relive it. And that was, I think I executed that very well. So you will find in that film, you know, various colors, shots. The colors are beautiful. I have a nice shot with the reflection of her in the pool and a montage of her. It's great. And I hope y'all like the film, you know. Just put a lot of work into it. And by the way, my name's Smooth. Some people call me that. Not because, you know, I'm the whole video side, but because I'm also into the music side. And I'm a producer. Yes, I am.
Excuse me.
I know y'all heard the hit picture, but we about to take it, you know, back into where it all started. You know, started with that. See, it started with that string line right there. Just like that, you know. Then I came in. I got Michael, this guitar player here. He came in and put in the guitars right here. Yeah, you know. Chris know about that. Shut up, bro. So, you know. We got Eclectic Love on the way. Christine. Got an all-girl group I'm coming out with. It's gonna be hot. Pop sensations right there. So, you know, I'm trying to cut into both rounds. So, all right, smooth music.
Deep rhythm captivates me. Hot rhythm stimulates me. Deep rhythm captivates me. Hot rhythm stimulates me.
This is New Orleans, Louisiana, a city with a culture rich in music, cooking, art, architecture, and much more. New Orleans is unlike any other city on the planet, period. But one aspect of this city that seems to stand out more than others is the food. I mean, what would New Orleans be without its distinct Creole flavor? I'm going to take a look into one of the best restaurants in the city, Baco. I will be talking with Haley Bitterman, the executive corporate chef and director of operations at the restaurant, about her experiences with the restaurant and how she has grown to love this city and its unforgettable cuisine.
My name is Haley Bitterman. I am the corporate executive chef and director of operations for the Ralph Brennan Restaurant Group. I was part of the opening team when they opened Baco. It was almost 15 years ago, and the position became open here at Baco for a chef, and they decided to give me a shot. I've probably worked with Italian food longer than I have anything else, and Italian food at Baco with an emphasis on local and regional ingredients with an emphasis pretty much on seafood. So I would say that you know, New Orleans Italian is probably what I'm most comfortable cooking. The menu at Baco changes quite often. We do tastings every 2 weeks and change specials. And we sit and we look at what's selling and what's not selling and what the guests would like and what they don't like.
What's one of your favorite items on the menu?
For me, anything pasta.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, for me, seafood. Redfish, shrimp.
Mussels.
I like, what's it called?
Carpaccio.
The carpaccio.
And that's kind of how we base decisions on how to change a menu and what we're going to change. We also change the menu based on seasonality and what's fresh right now and you know, what the local farmers are growing and what we see at the farmer markets.
Do you like being a waiter here at Zaca?
Yeah, sure. I enjoy it.
Have you tasted any of her food?
Yes, I've tasted most of them, especially lobster ravioli.
What about the desserts?
I think the best dessert is the blueberry bread pudding.
Probably, I would say the most popular dishes on the menu at Baco, which has been on for quite a while, is the lobster and shrimp ravioli with champagne butter sauce. One of my favorites is the Abita Baco shrimp, which is kind of like a New Orleans style barbecued shrimp made with Abita beer.
Chef Bitterman kindly let me get in on some of the action in the kitchen. I got to see executive chef Chris Montero make Baco shrimp, one of the most popular and recognized dishes made at the restaurant.
This is one of our signature dishes. It's our version of a classic New Orleans barbecued shrimp.
First, he starts with extra virgin olive oil in a pan. Then, he gets out some head-on Gulf jumbo shrimp.
The reason we leave the heads on these shrimp, you can see the bodies themselves are peeled. But the heads on because that imparts a tremendous amount of flavor to the actual finished sauce in the dish.
Sears it off for a few minutes, dusts it with some Creole seasoning, puts in some fresh garlic, fresh squeezed lemon juice, Worcestershire sauce, and I bet you know what comes next.
Local Abita amber beer. We let all those flavors meld together. As the beer reduces, the flavors from the shrimp and from the head and the fat and the seasoning from the shells are going to cook down. They're going to make a very rich and intense sauce.
Then he takes some bruschetta or grilled ciabatta bread and arranges it on a plate while the sauce continues to cook.
What we want to do is bring this down by about 3 times. So we're going to end up with about 1/3 of the amount of liquid that we started with.
And lastly, but certainly not least, he adds a whole stick of butter. You call that rich or what? Then all you gotta do is discard the lemon and pour it on the plate. Fortunately, Chef Montero offered to give my mom and I a taste of his succulent creation. I'm telling you, I got to take a few bites as well, and it was delicious.
Cooking in New Orleans for almost 15 years, and there are certain things that no matter how many of them you cook, you still really like. That's one of them, yeah.
We have one of our signature dishes, huh? It's called Baco shrimp.
My mother was very surprised when I decided to go to culinary school. My whole family, basically, the background is medicine. My grandfather was a doctor. My mother and my father both worked in research. And so I think my mother was very surprised when I turned around and said I would like to go to culinary school. I didn't cook a lot when I was younger, but once I got into the kitchen, I just loved it. I mean, I loved being in the kitchen. I didn't start out in the kitchen. I actually started out in the front of the house and was a bus girl, and I was a bartender, and then I became a server. And the kitchen was kind of the last thing I went into. And once I got into the kitchen, it was almost like a light bulb went off. I enjoyed it so much that I decided to go to culinary school. The whole Katrina experience was nothing any of us had ever been through. Hopefully we'll never go through it again. I'd been in contact with Mr. Brennan throughout the whole storm and while we were evacuated, and came back, and with a handful of managers, we just started getting into the restaurants and seeing what was going on. We were so lucky. Both Baco and Redfish Grill, and Ralph's on the Park for that matter, had very little damage at all. When I walked into Baco, it was very strange. It was just like any other morning. It looked like we had just shut down the restaurant for the night. At Redfish Grill, we had electricity. We had gas, but we had no water at Redfish Grill. At Baco, we had electricity, but we had no gas and no water. So, I mean, it took us a couple of days to figure out how we were going to operate a restaurant with no water, and operate a restaurant, Baco, with no gas. And we did. We figured out how to do it. Ralph felt it was extremely important to open the restaurants back up, to help support the community, to help get businesses back up and running, for the city to come back to life. We're not quitters. We're going to fight for everything, and it was extremely important to come back and open the restaurants up. I mean, you figure I've spent 2/3 of my life working in this city, and we love it, and we want it to come back.
TimecodeNOLA.com.
Crescent City. 8mm.
Independent.
Video.
Log on to www.timecodenola.com. You heard me?
Informative.
TimecodeNOLA.com.
I've been waiting for you.
I know.
Well,
Right here?
why not?
Okay. That's what you want. Hope you like it.
It's great. It's just what I've always wanted.
I thought you'd like it.
On August 29, 2005, everything changed, at least for New Orleans. We met our destiny that day, and her name was Katrina. After her floodwaters had receded and the city of New Orleans reopened, it was evident that New Orleans would never be the same. Katrina had changed our landscape, our communities, our neighborhoods, and our people. But now the images on the news have changed. Before the hurricane, approximately 80,000 Hispanics lived in New Orleans. More than 50,000 Hispanics have moved in since the storm to help with the rebuilding process. Some will leave, many will stay. This is their exodus.
Before Hurricane Katrina, we were about 150,000, and that's tricky because we know through census and through other ways, to find out who's living in the city. And a lot of Hispanics, for example, a Hispanic woman that marries a non-Hispanic man and takes on his name, well, you wouldn't be able to identify that person as a Hispanic. A lot of those Hispanics were mainly Honduran. We have a lot of people from Guatemala, from El Salvador, from Cuba, in different areas. Of course, the Mexican influx has now increased because of the construction. Chamber of Commerce of Louisiana is now completely different than what it used to be before the storm. We're really focusing more than economic development, which is what we used to do before the storm. We're now focusing more on helping our new Hispanic population assimilate itself to New Orleans.
Mi nombre es María Andrea.
María Andrea, ¿qué?
María Andrea Romero.
¿Y de dónde es?
Del Salvador.
del Salvador, por la razón económica.
They came for economic reasons?
Uno con coyote, otro sin coyote.
Okay, one of us had a coyote to help them across the border, the other one didn't. The coyotes are the people that bring people, the smugglers, that bring people illegally into this country. Actually, they've been paid thousands of dollars.
3 años.
Victor has been here for 3 years.
Ella apenas.
And Andrea has been here for 5 months.
Pues ratitos bien y ratitos mal, porque a veces no teníamos donde. Cuando yo llegué acá estaba recién pasado Katrina, y entonces no había ni luz, no había pues ni donde bañarse, y ahí andábamos como que éramos marranitos, ¿no? Y pues conforme las cosas fueron componiéndose, pues también nosotros fuimos hallando siquiera donde dormir.
We had a huge influx of Hispanic workers after the storm, especially to do construction, and some legal, some illegal, and a lot of these people don't know how to speak the language or the culture, and so we've set up a center. It's the Business Resource and Technology Center in Kenner, and we provide Hispanics with ESL, which is English as a second language classes, computer classes, how to start their own business, even psychological evaluations and aid, health, even health. Pretty much we're trying to be a resource for Hispanics that are living in New Orleans and to help them assimilate themselves into the society, into the community, and get established here.
Well, I met Andrea and Victor. Victor was working on the crew that was rebuilding our house after the flood. And during the time that they were rebuilding the house, Andrea came into the United States. So we let them stay at our house while the rebuild was happening. So they had lodging here at our house during the period of rebuilding. And since that time, they've continued to work for us and for other of our friends. And we've been able to help Andrea find other jobs. And right now, they're living in a house that they're renovating, so that the people for whom they work have been very generous in terms of giving them a place to stay under very difficult situations. Briefly, they rented an apartment that was very, very substandard, and they were being charged a whole lot of money in a very dangerous neighborhood. So we found a place for them to stay while they worked on the house. And then hopefully they'll be able to find some affordable and safe housing.
We really have to be focused right now on helping our new Hispanic community. We've grown significantly from the Hispanic community we used to have to the community that we have now. We're about 100,000 Hispanics in New Orleans, and that's just people that we know about. This is not even including the people that are here illegally that obviously we wouldn't know are here because they're under the radar. So it's pretty important the role that we're playing right now. Thankfully, we are able to have great sponsors at the center, and all our services are free. And so if someone wants to learn English right now, we're at full capacity. There's a waiting list for the ESL classes, unfortunately. But every other class, such as computer, how to start your own business, even legal consultations are all free to the Hispanic community. And hopefully in the upcoming months, we'll be opening another resource center in Orleans Parish, possibly on the West Bank, and therefore expanding. Our objective is to make sure that we have outreach everywhere, all over the state. And so starting with Kenner in that area, going on to Orleans Parish, and expanding to other parishes is our goal.
What the hell is this? Crap. That's all it is. Crap. Newspaper, now. Go on. Slow, you're making me nervous. I'm the director of the film. What's it called? You doing a documentary about me and you don't know what my freaking movie's called? Trifle contradictions. I told you that. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on. Get the camera. Get the camera ready. Get the camera. Where's Zach? Zach! It's about love, forbidden love. It's about like forbidden love. It's got the happy ending, big stars, a dinosaur. It's got a dinosaur in it. I want to scream. Scream for me. Scream. Go! No, not good. Not gonna cut it. Come on, scream. There's a freaking dragon behind you. We have crews involved. We have Aaron Walker. And we have Nicole Kidman's Siamese twin that was separated as a child. And Renee Zellweger. What?
Calm down.
Are you gonna think she's gonna tell the director to calm down? A freaking actress is gonna look at me and tell me to calm down. Do you know who I am? Sam, shut the hell up. That's Sam. That's Sam. He's my Jew assistant. Damn bright out there. Turn around.
As you wish, sir.
Make sure I pass up my newspaper so I can grab it.
Absolutely, sir. We don't need to
Because
get it
I
for you. We
dropped
don't need to get it for you, sir.
No, I'll get
All right.
it. Don't
Sorry.
touch it.
Very sorry, sir. Sorry I asked.
Well, I found Sam in Paris when he was a little boy. I found him wrapped in the dead, burnt carcass of his mother on the steps of Notre Dame. And I said, you know what, he might be of use to me. So I got him and I brought him back here and he's now my assistant. But I don't like him one bit. I think he's an arrogant little I don't like him at all. We're about to go see our sound mixers in here, so I don't really like them. They kind of annoy me. Where are they? Is it done? Is it done? See this? You see this? I actually don't like movies at all. I just don't like them. And I always used to see movies as a child, and I'd say, you know what, this is crap. I could make a better movie than any of these people. So it's basically something, it's my own personal thing to show that I was right and everyone else was wrong. Because I'm showing that I will make a better movie than people who drive to make movies. I'm showing them that someone who doesn't even give a about movies can go out there and make a better movie than the movies being made. So that's basically what it is. Out! Out, 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 the rest of you. I said it was a wrap. Damn it, that means get out. You, out, out! Christ. Here I am. All alone.
Cleanup crew, you have to get out of here.
Well, someone told me once, New Orleans is sort of like a mixture of US and Jamaica.
When my wife heard New Orleans, she jumped up and shouted, "Oh, jazz, we're moving."
But it has a lot of music, a lot of culture. It's like a tropical country where people are laid back. You know, we all know the nickname, the Big Easy.
Where we lived before, there was nothing like the climate or the French Quarter where you can just go and listen to music.
Actually, I chose to change my field of research just to stay in New Orleans. So I have to say I like it here.
A friend once told me that if you drink water from the Mississippi, you will return to New Orleans. And in our case, that was true.
Well, after the hurricane, when we came back in January, there was the same reason. Like, we wanted to come back to New Orleans.
Here, the mold on the sheetrock and ceiling was in all colors of the rainbow, almost. From white mold through green, yellow, blue, and furry black mold.
We heard about, you know, the breach in the levees on 17th Street. So we were kind of freaking out, like what's going to happen. We really didn't know what to do.
We tried to save what we could from the house, but in the dark, the only thing I could find was my wife's wedding ring.
Well, we got married one year, sort of 2 months before the hurricane hit. And it's actually funny because I promised to my wife the day we got married that our life won't be boring, that will be interesting and full of adventures. And I guess she found out that I wasn't lying sooner than she expected.
You can pass through the walls like a ghost. It's safe because there aren't any nails left.
We're kind of excited because we're coming back, because we love the music, we love the food here, not Walmart food, but then the small restaurant food here, and all this laid-back atmosphere. So we were expecting a lot. We thought that we were expecting that our life would be kind of like before. But we're coming from the east, and as you enter New Orleans from the east, you see a lot of devastation.
People get used to places. We'd like to stay, but whether or not we come back depends on our jobs.
But green card is an issue. Had we have green cards, would be easier. My wife could have a job. I could have a job that I would like to have. Could change the job if I wanted to. If you stay here, you can get a working visa, but then you kind of have to stay with a particular company. It's not freedom.
Our future is still uncertain, like many others from New Orleans, but it depends on our jobs and opportunities for self-development.
Well, I think only one thing: they should focus on the levees, and they should, build the better ones, and the system should be smarter. I cannot imagine having a small wall or pile of dirt protecting city which is in big depression, where river or the lake or the ocean or whatnot can just destroy it.
Aside from that, when it concerns tourism, I can't imagine the tourist economy without the return of the locals. It's the locals who influence the cultures of New Orleans. It's not the buildings in the French Quarter that created the historical neighborhood. It's the music that plays. It's the artists, even if their houses and instruments were flooded. Who's going to have Mardi Gras without the locals? They came from here. They created the traditions of New Orleans, the culture.
It's the culture that's so strong.
Well, I wish the city, everything good. I hope the city will be big again, and that will never be destroyed.
As they say, time heals all wounds. Maybe not completely, but at least to some degree. My documentary was about the Polish community in New Orleans. It wasn't necessarily, a call for justice or anything like that. It was sort of more of a personal exploration for me because I did go through that background. My parents were the college students with just a student visa and no citizenship. A lot of people might find that being objective in such a very personal thing is very difficult, but with a science background in the entire family, we approach everything objectively. The actual making of it in 2 different languages wasn't that difficult. It's more the post-production was a little awkward. Polish tends to be a lot more long-winded than English, so some of the overdubs were actually a lot shorter and a lot more condensed than the original. Now I'm working on a short film based on an Isaac Asimov short story. It's about a guy who sells his soul to the devil. It's a challenge. It's definitely not the typical sort of movie, and I'm definitely having fun with the style part for that.
NOLA.com.
If you like snoozer, you might enjoy Gargantuan Things, a collection of short works by Jason Affolter. Contained on this very neat DVD are Snoozer and other assorted projects. Some of these movies have been screened all around the world and won awards, while others sadly have not. You'll find art, adventure, comedy, horror, beauty, oddity, along with a super secret hidden bonus track. Gargantuan Things is available at Mojo Coffee House, Mushroom Music, Octavia Books, and online at filmbaby.com. Get yours today or tomorrow.
What's her name? happening. Not here. This isn't 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 happening.
Come out wherever you are. Davy? It is Davy, right?
Who are you? What do you want with me?
Don't be afraid. Come out from under there. I can't hurt you. Davy, grow up.
Where am I? What is this place?
I don't know. You tell me. You created it.
So are you telling me this is all in my head? Am I dead? Is this the afterlife?
Maybe. I don't know.
What happened to me?
I don't know. Probably something out of the ordinary. Look, don't make it complicated.
Excuse me. I can't be dead. I have a life. I have a job that suits me just fine.
So?
I have friends.
So?
I have a dog.
So?
People that need me. People that depend on me.
I'm sure you're replaceable.
My job. Working towards that new position. I really was. I got that raise. Could have had a nice house. Not a mansion, but a nice house, a pretty wife, some kids. 2-car garage and a white picket fence. Why this? Why now? So quiet. Why is it so quiet? Here. This isn't happening. Not here. Not here. This isn't happening. Not in school because my worth is only based on knowledge. This is all I am. Come with me.
Where are you going? What part of your mind is this? Davy?
Over here. All of this dilapidated stuff looks like but it's amazing. That's not what matters. Because it's mine. Go to church because mortality is based on faith. I go to school because worth is based on knowledge, but it doesn't matter. Only this. This is all I own. Don't you see? This is all I need. Excuse me.
Davy? Davy, what's wrong?
My chest.
Tell me what to do. Davy? Davy? Where'd you go?
So you're a filmmaker, huh? You sit around with your partners talking about, you gonna shoot this or I'm gonna shoot that. You ain't shooting shit. You gotta finish the sound bites, and I need ADR and my soundtrack music ain't right. You ain't making movies if nobody ain't seeing them. Get the done, you bullshitting. We need your film. Send them in today. Timecode NOLA, you heard me?
Timecode NOLA is supported in part by the Louisiana Division of the Arts Council of New Orleans, Cox Communications, and by people like you.